Generic greetings and welcome back to Airships Conquer the Skies. Today's beverage is... that is an elderflower and pear juice drink. So in a previous video of Airships, we were once again designing, and we were designing a really cheap airship. If we go to open design, we can see that it is called the cheap, in fact version 2, because the first version, although it is technically cheaper, the other one is just better in so many ways. Either way, quite an interesting one, and obviously people did suggest different designs and that sort of thing, and one suggestion was to take the cheap and go ahead and say remove these two and then put Flack on the top, because that would give us a nice sort of attack to take everything out of the sky. If we go over to weapons and then to our Flack, where is it? It is deck gun cannon. Have I missed it? No, flak cannon. That's not a flak cannon. That is a flak cannon. Problem with that is it almost doubles the cost. So we can't do... I mean, we could do something like that, but I think we are going to try something else. We have made in the past, and I don't know if it's in the legacy folder or not, but we have made... vessels that like that, for example, the hull, which is all about the suspendium charges, which are fairly cool but not overly effective. Same as these ones here, the sandwich, and things like that, which are not... Oh, that's actually the head of a little mech thing we made. I don't think it's in here, but there's a legacy one where it is just sort of flak on the top of it, and that got me thinking that we've never really made a landship here that is solely focused on complete air denial, and we just have pretty much like flak cannons like that all the way along, and a very large like vessel, and that's what we're going to make today. So let's try this out. And the thing is, these things do explode and do have big secondary explosions around it, so we're going to have to try and avoid getting these close in. And what I'm going to do in order to sort of aid that is we're going to have flak cannons, and we're probably going to have a couple of aerial charges as well, because the flak cannons are fairly long range with good blast damage, but the aerial charges do have a lot more damage. Splash distance is 7, whereas the splash distance is 6 on the flak. So the charges are better, but they have only a maximum accurate range of 190 meters, as opposed to the flak, which is 1,300 meters. So what we'll do is we'll have a section of flak, and then we'll somehow put some aerial charges in. I haven't yet decided exactly how we're going to do it, but that's the idea. And then we will make it so that each of these, we'll make this module, and then we'll clone it to the right or whatever, and then it means if any of these parts blow up or the secondary explosions, at least we can still move the thing around and order it. So let's actually remove that center section, and what I might do is have a 3x3 like that, followed by aerial charges, which are going to go probably further inside. I mean, we could do that, but the problem is, obviously, when these go up, if we go over to overlay and to explosion damage, you can see that these can actually go boom, and then it's just gonna cause us some issues there. But I don't know what the solution would be. Maybe just putting them there is the right choice. We'll give it a go. Go on then. We might end up altering that. What I want to do is have over in basic corridor with ladder, we'll place one there and one there. Then we're going to place a ladder coming down like to there, and like that as well. Ammo store will go there, and we'll place I think actually that's probably all we really need for the ammo stores. We'll just go for a standard corridor there, and a corridor there, followed by corridor with ladders right across. We do want a fire point, which sadly does not have... I'm just going to turn that overlay off so it's a little bit better for us. Sadly, we don't have a way to connect up this to the top, so maybe instead then we're going to remove that section, go over to our resources, and then to a fire point, fire extinguisher, one there and one there. That is better for what we want to achieve. That's fine. We have no propulsion, we have no way of giving it commands, so we need to sort all of that out. So let's go over to our command and crew and to a cockpit, and we're going to place a cockpit in a couple of places. We're going to place some like around here, I would think. We do need to have some quarters in, so a quarters there and a quarters... hang on, this is slightly offset. I thought it was. That goes to there, that goes to there. That is better. Hang on, something's not right. That's because that should be there. Yes, that is better. So quarters there, which sadly it means you haven't got all the way around to the bridge. Not that that is a huge problem, but it's also not ideal. So is there a better solution? There probably will be a better solution. I just don't know exactly what that solution is. Recommended crew 20 at the moment, but it's going to increase once we get more of the things in there as well. In fact, we could probably remove these and put some berths in there, and that would serve as both a way to get up and round, but also give us some more crew. So that's all right. We don't really want to do we want to repair it, or do we want it just to, you know, crack on and do its own thing? I don't really know. What I do know is we need some tracks on it. Now if we did that, it's actually still light enough to function, so that's good. What I'll do then is remove that, put that in the actually, do we want to go with legs? Legs might not be. If we go with, say, do we go with double tracks? I don't know if double tracks are really required. We only really need one set of tracks. Sadly, it is going to be off to one side, but there's nothing much we can really do about that unless we go with small legs, but the small legs generally can't hold the required weight. That is... Actually, that would work, those legs. The advantage with the legs is that you can get over terrain, and they are actually cheaper than the one set of tracks. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. We don't have any coal, so we will sort that out. Let's go over to our resources and to a coal store. Probably a small one would be sufficient like that. And then I think what we'll do is move these legs out to there, and then in between these two sections, what I'm going to do is have, obviously, access there. We've already got access... Hang on. Ah, see that? Because of that little bit there, it's slightly different. Right, okay, let's just put over... that's okay. Tell you what, I'm going to move it to there. So it's not going to be totally symmetrical, which isn't a problem. It was never supposed to be. But those are fine. Gives us access to there. We got that there, but we do need a couple of supply places, so I'll remove those and probably put them in there. So we'll go with a steel supply hatch like so. Can't give commands to ship. We can sort that out by going over to our cockpit. Cockpit goes either side, and it says difficulty navigating terrain. Yep, that's understandable. In terms of armor, it's currently got wood, and we want steel, ideally, but that's too heavy. So do we want to just go reinforced wood? Reinforced wood, again, is too heavy. Wooden armor. Wood function? Do you get it? Wood Anyway, that would work. That would work. Do you get... Again? No, stop that. What else do we want? I mean, do we want to go with that, or do we get rid of... I mean, we could just get rid of the legs and instead go for... Get rid of the legs and perhaps go for tracks. If we remove the... Let's just try this. Let's go over to our propulsion. Large tracks, no. Definitely not. Don't need large tracks. But standard tracks, if it was there, would function perfectly fine. So we don't need two sets of tracks. And the advantage with that is we can go for heavy steel armor. Still, we'll have difficulty navigating terrain, but we can still navigate. That's the main thing. Do you want to do something like that? I sort of do, because we can probably move these about and connect them up, say, there, and put the coal either side and the cockpit either side as well, like that, and then that goes up there. And that's there. Okay. It's not going to navigate very far, but it probably will do. Now what I want to do is go to... Because this is just aerodynamic. I just want to place it and just it'll sit where it is. It's not going to move. It's currently 1,600 for not a lot, but it's heavily armoured. And we've got fire. We haven't got any repair, but we've got fire. We've got enough crew. we can only try it. Let's go over to our structural, and I want to get. It's not in. It's actually not in there. Solid shapes, no. Struts, yes. Strut there, because select the whole thing. H, 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 and that is all in. Right. Undo. Undo, 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 undo. We'll remove that. And we're going to put an accessible strut. And then we'll try that again. H, 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 H. H. And crew is 210. Max is 120. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we have those, it'll function. But do we want to put in a keel? A small keel. That's too heavy. Wouldn't work. It's heavy by a... It's actually too heavy by here. By a fair bit as well. So the question is, do we want to just accept that it's got slightly flawed structural integrity? Or do we want to alter it slightly to be able to be, like, say, that long? I think we do. I think we do. And the way I'm going to alter it is remove that track, remove those, just temporarily move these out the way. We're going to put tracks there and tracks there. I'll have to move these around a second. Tracks either side then. Like so. Call. Like that. Slight problem is getting down to it. That's not ideal. I mean, we probably could pull it down by... The height doesn't matter. So, call on either side, like that. Bridge, bridge. Corridor with ladder. Alright. That's now in. Let's just see if I can clone it. I can, but it goes over there, which is not what I wanted. So I'll move this along to that side by 1. That's still giving us access, as we would like. Just shifting this along a little bit like that. Alright, that's fine. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll make it 5. And then small keel. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, even with those, it's not altering that. To reinforce the ship for the keel. Is there anything else I can do then? What if I'm just going to place loads on the front just to see what it's like. Because the keels used to, yeah, so the keels do increase the structural integrity. But as you've seen there, you can only get a couple in. So remove those. Might have to make some alterations so we can fit more keels in, because I don't just want to put loads of keels on the front like that, because it'll look, I mean, it'll look alright. It's not actually too bad. It's a bit of a bodge though. I don't like that. The other option is to remove this and move it back over to there, and we can fit a keel in. That'll have to go back, followed by that, and a keel will go in there. Okay, select all of that, backspace, and a keel and a keel. Let's try that again. Oh, that didn't work. Tell you what, remove these. Select all of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the keels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. On the front it works fine. But I'll do that. Right. Those are in. Crew 150, max 120. So we can remove these berths, I think. Yes, there is no need for them. But obviously I do want to put the connections back in. But I'm just trying to figure out exactly where they go. One in. Do I want to put it... Is it there? Yeah. So remove those. Put them back in. Remove those. Put them back in. Remove those. And then put them back in. And that's technically a legal thing. Max 120. That's all fine. There could be better connections at the bottom, but that's the idea, is that if this breaks up here or there's an explosion, this can still function. Right, let's name it. Naming. We're going to call it the new port. And whoops. So it's the new port. Save design. Save. Let's try this. Combat. Day. Nice flat terrain, which is good. Landship. The new port. And it's not as big as I expected. It's 10 grand. So, airship. What can we put against it? Excalibur. No. Too expensive. Put a Coventry in there. We're probably going to do a mix of ships, actually. Coventry. We'll go for a Berlin. No, we'll go for probably a Dresden. High-level-ish bomber. Oh, that's in the wrong place for that. Now, naturally, this obviously has its enemies that it just can't face. Many things on the ground. But that's not what we were going to fight anyway. Now we need something that's quite relatively cheap. Oxford. We'll put that back there. 10,265 versus 10,037. Relatively fair fight. Start the fight. And I'm just going to say move and move there. So immediately we can see that it's not the fastest thing in the world. In fact, it is the opposite of that. It is incredibly, incredibly slow. But the Dresden is getting absolutely hammered. We're going to go for... Oh, yeah, I'll put it on aim fire. I actually meant to do the other way around. It's absolutely decimated. This stuff in front of it. That is amazing. I expected it to do a lot of damage. I just didn't expect it to do that much damage at that speed. And that thing's dead. It doesn't realise how dead it is. I like the way it was coming across here, it started getting shot, and by the time I come out the other end, it was just drifting and just clunk, there it is. Technically, that might win it the game, because I can't deal with it. I can't actually deal with that, because I can't shoot it. Okay. As you can see, we are trying to move forward. It's not working out. We're not able to go through this. So I'm going to have to say ram back. By the way, that is the maximum. That's its maximum speed there, right? That is the maximum speed for this thing. And, oh, that is a dead New York. It's coming right close. All of the flak's going in. All of the aerial charges are going in. And it's just met the same fate as that thing. Wow. I'll say ram backwards. Just try and get these guns in. But it's only floating because of this. So I mean, there's not much really to take out. Right, we can safely say that it's a bit slow. We need to sort that out. It's too slow. But was it effective? Oh yeah. Yeah, that seemed to work. Alright. Leave. No, that's it. Leave. Let's up the ante completely. Landship. New port. Place it there. Airship. Excalibur. Start. So, the Excalibur, armed with all sorts. Planes, aerial hussars, 3 big cannons, flak, miniguns, bombers, flamethrowers, rockets. I mean, a lot of those aircraft are now already dead, and there's the rockets coming in. In terms of damage, though, as you can see, very good. We're alright. We're not taking much damage because of this amount of armour. But that's why it's really slow. That's where it's... Oh, there we go. So there's an explosion, and you can see it's taken that out. But because of the spacing that we left, it's only taken that out rather than the rest of it. So, the armour was the wild card. Because I didn't realise, well, I didn't expect, I didn't think we were going to put on this really big, chunky armour that gives us the survivability. Because of that, it's too heavy to move. So we need to change things up. We're going to keep going on the combat. I just want to put a couple more things in it because I think this does require, I wouldn't say a slight modification. I think it is a version 2 required. I think it does. I think it's a good design, good premise, but it either needs lighter armour or, more likely, all these tracks removing and heavy tracks put on. Also, because the original intention was to have it so there's got these separate modules, so that's a separate one to that one, that can all function independently if they do get split in half. The thing is that there's a lot of redundancy there. And with the heavy armour on, we don't really need this independent nature of the modules. We could probably just go for a heavily armoured flak line like we have here. Anyway, airship. Let's go for a couple of Denvers. Ah, no, because that's the thing that will kill us. Because oh, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's go for it. We want a airship. We want a couple of Dresdens. Airship. We want a. Don't need a hull. A New York, no. Oxford. Couple of Oxfords, 1, 2, 3, 4. Airships. So we're giving them a good chance. We're giving them some good stuff here. We could put a couple of Prims on. Sandwich, no. Where is it? The Denvers. A couple of Denvers. These are boarding vessels, by the way. And we're going to have to put some cheap version 2s in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just loads of them. And they still require more. Because they are cheap. Very, very cheap. Not that cheap. 10,265 as opposed to 10,208. Start the fight. Go there. And immediately, Flack is absolutely plastering this Dresden. Here's a cheap coming over the top. It won't last long. Case in point. Put it on rapid fire because we don't need the accuracy. Oh! There's the boarding things that are trying to do boarding, but they went so fast over the top and all of the flak shot them so quick that they pretty much took them out straight away. We can see all of these Oxfords going over the top. We've got the aerial charges coming out as well. And there's another... Yeah, there's another Denver trying to go over the top, which didn't work. Right. You can see now that even though we've got air superiority, it is an area denial system, isn't it? It is complete area denial. What we're seeing is what we expected. When stuff falls out the sky and lands on us, it does a lot of damage. Which we have seen previously, and we've done airships and ground ships. Not on this scale, but with the same rough design that have protection against that. What you do is you put struts up like that, indispersed, with the flak indispersed, so it means that if stuff lands on it, it takes the struts out rather than the flak. It's a little bit more time consuming to build, but it works. So we're just unable to move. We're also getting boarded, but we're just unable to move. So although we may be able to go forward and happily take these guys out, in fact we will take them out as they continue to go over the top of us there, because even though we've lost a lot of weapons, it's nowhere near the amount required. But this is definitely something I want to revisit. I'd like to revisit now, but just sadly don't have the time to to do that. But we can see that it does function. Let's try one more fight. Combat. In the nighttime. Landship. Where are we at? Newport. We can go there. Airship. What should we have? Rock tosser. Quite high level thing. A couple of Barrys. Wales v Wales here. Cheaps, no. Coventries. Coventries are pretty good. The Crane, no. Anything like the Harrier would be pointless. And the Croesus again would be pointless because we take out stuff. I mean, realistically, the Oxford is one of the best. Really, a couple of Sterlings in there, and I think we will put a York in there. We'll put a New York in there, actually. Where are we at? New York. And they're overpointed by quite a bit. 10,265, 10,500. Start the fight. Immediately rapid fire. And there you go. Doesn't matter how high level it is, it still gets taken out. There you go. Ramp to there, moving forward. You see the Barrys are plastering us. We've got outside view. You can see that we're losing the front end. Slowly encroaching on them. It should be called the encroacher actually, but we've got one of those. But again, the problem is that we can take the damage. That armour is amazing at absorbing this damage. You've got the Sterlings which are firing their machine guns, you've got the Barrys which are peppering us with the grape shot, but then we just don't care. As you can see, the damage is spread across it. Don't care. We've hardly lost anything. And we've taken out so much. So, as I said, we either need to make it lighter, which is removing the armour, and then that will put it back to what we originally intended. So it's got these separate modules that if things break, they can all act independently. However, I think that's got too much redundancy in it and it's making it more expensive. I think we attempt this again at some point. We'll make a proper version 2. The version 2 will be heavily armoured, same as this. It won't have as much redundancy in it, and we'll probably have more centralised modules. Certainly not. We'll probably have more command. We'll have better fire point, maybe even repair and that sort of thing, and just make it a proper mobile aerial denial system. And it needs to move faster as well. Could even go for legs, because then we would be able to get over this ground. That's the problem at the moment. Even with big tracks, we might not traverse things like this because of the length. So we may go for spider legs, may go for just the large legs. Either way, that is definitely something I want to revisit, but it's been fun building this, and you don't know until you know, and I like to make these videos, even if it doesn't work out, because it shows you that, yeah, mistakes are made, you know, but now we've learned something, and I don't like to hide the crimes. There we are. We're going to leave it there. We will try that again. If you have any suggestions for what we could do to alter that, and chop and change and that sort of thing, or even suggestions for new designs, by all means, let us know in the comments. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.